welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. We have Mark back again. We had some guests lined up. Unfortunately, we lost some guests, so Mark's filling in, and we're going to talk about how long we've been collecting, why we've been collecting, and what we had to do to collect back when we were kids. I tell people at the shop, I was like, you have no clue. There were no comic shops in the area when I was a little kid. We had junk shops and stuff like that we could go to, but that was about it. So, I mean, I will say this. Comic book collecting, I legitimately don't know when I started. I probably got Star Wars comics when Star Wars came out in 77. So it was like about 3. And my parents my grandparents or my parents got them for me. And it's been on ever since. I don't remember. There was a brief moment where I only collected like 1 or 2 books, but pretty much I've either bought comic books or somebody's bought me comics since I was a little kid.
I got books back in the early 70s. There was a drugstore about 5-6 blocks from my house. So I rode my bike over there, and back in those days, I was getting the Werewolf by Nights and the Monster Frankenstein stuff, and Swamp Thing and whatnot. I didn't get Dracula. I didn't care for Dracula.
Yeah, you were the opposite, because I was a bigger fan of Dracula. And you were, and then like Werewolf by Night. I liked Werewolf by Night. I was always a bigger fan of Dracula.
Yeah.
I used to. My mom worked at a grocery store, and my grandma worked at the same grocery store. So my mom got off work when my grandma.
I've been crazy for you, girl, since we were terrible too. In a butterfly shrink to fit a 501 blues. Now our bodies blew up different, and I love your ways and means. Cause Levi's always understood it's all in the jeans.
All kinds of Levi's are on sale now at JCPenney. Come on in and celebrate American style.
I love our modern advances. Remember those antiperspirants we used to use? That went on wet, sticky. Then came Real, the advanced antiperspirant system. The top is soft. The antiperspirant is smooth, yet totally dry. Not a drop of water. You smooth it on. The perfect solution. The Real solution. It feels out of this world.
The future is Real. The advanced antiperspirant system you smooth on. Real antiperspirant.
By Mennen. Super Gobots.
You'll never forget the day your home was invaded by Super Gobots, each sold separately from Tonka.
Okay, I remember going with my grandmother, and she was dropping me off when my mom was getting off work, and I would literally sit on the little magazine rack. I sat on that magazine rack for so long that I broke it. I would always sit on the very end, and I would read comics, and every once in a while they'd buy them for me, and I would always buy. I was never a big like Batman or Superman fan or nothing like that. I like the cool stuff, like the weird monsters and stuff like that. And I was more of an X-Men fan back when nobody collected X-Men, stuff like that. But I would do that, and then when I was able to start traveling on my own as a little kid, I would go to the newsstand downtown, and they had 2 spinner racks. They had the Marvel spinner rack and the DC spinner rack. And the DC was like 4-sided, and 3 sides were DC, and 1 side was like Archie.
Yeah.
And Marvel had all 4 sides. And
I think the drugstore I went to only had 1 spinner rack, and that's when I lived in Union, just south of Inglewood there.
Mhm.
There was no other place to go back then that I knew of, but then again, I was a kid. I was in 2nd grade, 3rd grade. I couldn't go very far.
No.
Moved to Troy, over in Westbrook over there. There was actually 3 places to go to for comics. There was another drugstore, which sat on the corner of Main Street and another road. Little Caesars is in there now. I think is it Little Caesars? The pizza place, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
There was a grocery store in the next plaza over. It was called Pangles, I think. They actually had a bookcase where they put all their comics on. And they kept that back by the meat department, actually, back in the corner. And then there was a Stop and Go, which also had a spinner rack.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, we had not far from where I live now, we have what's called a Buckeye Chuck's. Buckeye Chuck's when I was a kid was a Stop and Go. You could go in there, they had a spinner rack. There was like every little convenience store in town had a spinner rack at one point.
Yeah.
But if you were lucky, you could find something different at each one. But most of the time it was, your Spider-Man, your Fantastic Four, your Superman, your Batman, and you just go and
yeah. Back in those days, I pretty much found everything. I mean, it was all newsstand at that point.
Yeah.
It all came out on at the places I went. I never had to go downtown. There, what was it, Jay's downtown?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
that sounds right.
I never had to go downtown until I think I was in the 7th grade. Uncanny X-Men 137. It didn't come out on the newsstands near my house. I had to drive downtown to go buy it. Actually, not drive, ride.
Yeah, mine was I can't remember what issue of Alpha Flight it was, but I got Alpha Flight on the newsstand, and I think it was issue 38 or 39. It was where the Tundra, where the one undead captain of the ship, 2-parter, he was pestilent, he had all the but that same month or around that time, the annual 1 dropped, and our newsstand didn't get issue 38. Instead, it got an annual. And so I had to spend, I couldn't tell you how long, because this is, I lived in Piqua. There were new comic book stores around here. I mean, literally the closest one was Vandalia, and then I think Dragon's Lair. So you had Funny Farm and Dragon's Lair, and those were, my parents were not going to take me that far to go get comics when I was in, junior high.
My parents never took me down to Vandalia for comics.
No, it wasn't until I got much older, and then it was only if we were driving through, they'd let me run in, and that was occasionally. What was really cool was my dad and I would go Saturday afternoons, and we would go to the Dixie drive-in or the Dixie flea markets, because Dixie had 5 flea markets. And there was one flea market, if you went all the way in the back, in the very back corner, the dude had comic boxes, and they were on a shelf like this, and had them so high, but they were all 10 cents a piece.
Yeah.
So I would go in there, and I'd always spend $5 every time I went, and I would get ROM, a stack of ROM. I would get Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, GI Joe, you name it, I would just pick it up because they were 10 cents a piece. And I
Well,
would,
you're talking the mid '80s. By that point, I was driving.
yeah, see, I wasn't yet.
Uh,
Because there is an age gap between Mark and I. What is it? I just turned 47. You were your birthday was not too long ago. That's bad. I spaced on your birthday.
July 6th.
July, yeah. Yeah, because you're July. That's right, because you're with everybody else's. Everybody's birthday's in July. But
yeah, but let's see here. 2 years prior to that, I didn't have a vehicle. That's when New Teen Titans, the second volume came out, direct market only. You can only go down to the Funny Farm to get it,
yep,
basically.
Baxter book, wasn't it? What they called it back then?
I think they called it a Baxter book, yeah. Although I think that's what Marvel called theirs. DC called theirs just direct market or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because it was something to do with the printing process that changed from what went on the newsstand to what went direct market.
When New Teen Titans #1 was supposed to come out, the week it was supposed to come out, I think I was 17 maybe at the time. I rode a bike down to Vandalia, and this bike had no seat. So I'm pretty much standing the whole time down there. Get down there. It didn't come out that week. It got delayed.
Oh, geez.
I had to ride the bike all the way back.
I want to say about that time. So about the time then, that's when StarQuest opened up in Troy.
Right.
Because I started going there, and I buy Swamp Thing and stuff like that. And that's when the guy was like, hey, you like Swamp Thing, you'll like this new book called Watchmen. And I bought all 12 issues and didn't get it because I was a kid.
Yeah. I actually, Watchmen. Not sure. I'm not sure I even have any Watchmen.
You probably don't at this point. I sold them off back in the day when you needed money.
I have one, but I think it's a reprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I got them when they came out, but I can't remember if I bought them at Funny Farm or if I was ordering through Westfield Comics at the time.
Now, before I moved, I lived in Piqua until I was 14, but not too far away from my house was this little mom and pop convenience store. And when you say convenience store, it's like, old style grocery. So you could go there and get, stuff. But they always had boxes of comics sitting on this table. And they were like half cover price. Or you could go in and you could trade 2 for 1.
Yeah.
And I never traded any of them in there. So I would always go in there and drop change and just buy comics for nothing. And then they kind of stopped doing that. I don't know if somebody bought the comics they had, or just one day I went in and they didn't have comic books at all anymore. So I'm assuming somebody just bought them all, or they just decided, not ain't worth it or whatever. But then there was a little mom and pop bookstore that opened downtown Piqua, and they started carrying comics. And I ended up getting Wolverine #1 from the miniseries for like $1. I ended up getting Warlock #9 for like 50 cents. Because it was that, they just went by, they had prices like 35 cents, 45 cents, 50 cents, up to like $1. And that's how you knew your book was expensive. It was $1 there.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what back issues. I didn't know the stuff was worth anything. All I knew it was stuff I liked.
Right.
It wasn't until I realistically, I don't think it was until I got in high school before I started realizing like a lot of these books had a lot of, value. I mean, the worst part about it is I can, I can go over and grab a book, but you had that center page of Mile High Comics. You could do the mail order. Remember those?
Yeah, they've always had that.
And
When I did mail order, I went through Westfield, which back then it was a duplicate, triplicate form, one page. That there wasn't a whole lot to order from. There was Marvel, there was DC, and Image was just getting started with the Spawn and stuff like that.
now, see, I remember when I started collecting comics, there was Marvel, DC, and Archie essentially, and I didn't know that there were these other brands like First Comics. I didn't know there was Atlas Comics. I didn't know there was some of the stuff till much later in life. And it was like all of a sudden I'm at a bookstore and I'm like sitting there going through and I'm like, who the hell is E-Man? Who's Monster Man or Mr. Monster? Who are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? That's weird. So I end up buying like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like issue 4 when it first came out. So it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I found the reprints of 1, 2, and 3. But no one, if you lived somewhere where there was not a comic book store, you didn't know there was, like I did not realize how old Dark Horse was up until, they had like their like their 30th anniversary a while back. I'm like, holy crap, you guys are 30? You've been around that long? But because they've been around since I was in junior high, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't buy anything from Dark Horse until they started putting out Aliens and Predator stuff.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I bought anything from them before Aliens and Predator, but I might have, but it was still Aliens and Predator. I think I picked up like Dark Horse Presents with the alien on the cover, where they introduced Alien and where they got the rights to it. And they started introducing them in there. But it's like Judge Dredd. I didn't know who Fleetway. I'd always heard of Judge Dredd, and because I used to read Comic Scene magazine back in the day before they had Wizard and all that stuff. You had Comic Scene and the internet, so you'd read that, and I'm like, who are these characters? This is so awesome. I love this. I need to find this and read it. And then one day, outside of being able to like occasionally go down to Funny Farm, I walked into the comic book store over on South Street, and shortly thereafter is when I met you.
Mhm.
So, and all of a sudden I'm like, on the shelf there's Terminator and Aliens versus Predator, and I'm like, what the hell? This is great. And that kind of snowballed it. I went from buying like 4 or 5 books a month to buying 30 or 40 books a month.
Then came Valiant.
Then Valiant and Image and holy crap. Valiant was great when it first started. You had really good characters, and then it just kind of like, I don't know if they knew what to do with the characters at a certain point. I still don't think they know what to do with the characters because they keep starting all over with the issue 1 constantly.
Yeah, and that's pretty much, I'm off of Valiant now.
Yeah.
All these constantly starting over with another number 1. I'm still, I'm a Marvel guy, so I'm sticking with what they're doing it, but constantly redoing their characters in Valiant, just no.
If a Valiant comic hits 30 issues, it's a milestone before it gets rebooted.
Yeah, but currently none of their books will hit 30. They all go to about 12 to 20 at most.
And the worst part about it is that I like Exo Man of War and I like Shadow Man. And the only thing I do is that if I buy bulk or anything like that, or if I can get them dirt cheap, excuse me, I'll buy them. I'll take them out of bulk and stuff like that. I will not buy Valiant if I have to pay full cover price for it.
All right.
It's too big of a pain in the ass. Like if I can read it and enjoy it for 50 cents to $1 an issue, I'll do it. If I'm paying $4 an issue, nah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny because when we were kids, there was no direct market until Marvel's first direct market book was Dazzler #1. I remember that because when I worked at Dragon's Lair, I was working in the basement going through the books and I found 3 long boxes of Dazzler #1s. And I went upstairs and I'm like, why do we have all of these? Do what?
Are you sure that's the first one?
I'm pretty sure it was the first one for Marvel.
I'm not sure about that.
I thought it was, but they made a big deal about it being but I had to ask, and I'm like, why do we have 1,000, 3 boxes? And they're like, oh no, we had 1,000 of them at one point. And I'm like, oh shit.
March of '81. Moon Knight was actually the first title that switched from a regular newsstand to direct only.
Yeah, but issue 1?
No, it had already started coming out.
Yeah, no, I'm talking the first #1, first book.
Switched around 19 or 20.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But Dazzler was the first one to be a direct market book from issue 1.
Yeah, but they didn't price it like a direct market book because I remember when Moon Knight went to direct market, the price went to $1 or $1.25. I'd have to look that up.
I think it went to $1 if I remember right. So I was collecting Moon Knight as a kid. I'm
actually missing issue 19 of Moon Knight, so somewhere in that time frame.
Damn. No,
but, Dazzler was 60 cents.
That was 50 cents.
Was it 50 cents?
Yeah. I don't have that phone floating around here. I can't look it up real quick.
Moon Knight was like DC's New Teen Titans, except instead of doing another volume, they just made it a direct market thing instead.
Yeah, they just went, okay, this is the only way you can get it.
They did the same thing with Kazar too, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. No, well, that's like, it wasn't up until, oh God, I'd always seen these little, ads in Marvel Comics and stuff like DC Comics. They're like, comic book convention, New York City, James Doohan and, Joe Kubert are going to be the guests of honor. And I always thought, oh, that would be so cool to go to. And, all we had was flea markets. If we were lucky that some guy would have boxes of comics just shoved in like milk crates or some shit like that.
Actually, late 80s, I did go to New York conventions because I was working for Troll and Unicorn, but he mainly just did the creation conventions, the sci-fi ones.
Yeah.
So, there might have been, I didn't see much in the way of comics there, but as far as meeting people, you could still meet, other people. The one that I remember going to it was billed as the Two Captains. And my boss at the time, he let me break away from the table to go see Patrick Stewart on stage.
Yeah, it's, I think the first convention I did was either with you or Bill, and we did Zanesville.
I was part of Zanesville.
Yeah, Zanesville was always great. It was a mall comic
Think
book
we were,
show
Uh,
just outside of the college.
still met, I think we were hooked up with Mike at the time.
Yeah, that seems about right. But we would go and we set up over there, and that's when I first started doing comic book shows. All right, this doesn't help me at all. I just know John Romita did the first 3 issues of Dazzler. So, oh yeah,
think-
Dazzler was supposed to be a multimedia extravaganza.
Yeah. I think the big thing on Dazzler, it might have only been available in comic book stores, but it wasn't priced at like a direct market book. And it was coming off that introduction in X-Men. So everybody was like, this is going to be a really hot character.
Yep.
Which is why most stores ended up with way too many copies because it kind of fell flat.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
it was supposed to be.
It lasted 40 some issues, but still.
God, why can I only find the facsimile cover? Okay, here we go. Ah, there we are. 50 cents. It was a 50-cent book.
Right.
There we go. And up until relatively recently, it was a 50-cent book for issue 1. Now it's actually got value. I remember the first time that book went over $1. I was like, are you really? Dazzler #1. Real? That's where we're selling. Okay. Then it hit $5. And then it hit $10. And I think it's like $20 now. Not there's anything wrong with it. Enjoy it. Shit. Although what's funny is that me and you go pick up those packs at Walmart, those 3 packs. Yeah. I remember going to like Rinks, Kmart, like Woolworths, and they had them polybagged 3 books. And that's where you got like the Whitman reprints of books.
Well, yeah, there was the Whitmans for the DCs. The Marvels, it was that diamond
Yeah.
thing for where the price was at and the issue number.
Yep.
Because back then it was real easy to find like a 3-pack of Star Wars comics.
Yep. You could get 1, 2, and 3 for $1. And you could get Battlestar Galactica for $1.
Yeah.
The first 3 issues. I got one a while back, and it was 3 packs of Disney comics. So it was a Gladstone, and one of them, because it was still sealed and had a Alice in Wonderland #1 in it. That shit was like $100.
I think A-Team, Marvel had that 3-issue A-Team series.
Yep, that's why it was made like that.
Yeah.
I looked that up. It was made, all 3 issues came out on the same day, so that they could release that 3-pack at department stores. So those 3 packs were at like Kmart and Woolworths and Big Wheel and Rinks and other stores that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, and there used to be other stuff. I mean, there was Spider-Man 3-packs.
Yep.
I
got a lot of issues of Defenders in 3 packs.
I can see that.
I think I got the first 3 issues of Crystar in a 3-pack. But I think that was because it was in the probably packed to put in the toy department with the action figures, along with like G.I. Joe did that too.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe had the 3 packs, but I don't think it had anything to do with like, I think they were just polybagged versions of books that they'd already come out. So same way with Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, all those licensed product books got released in packs that they put in the toy aisle.
Yep.
Back when they still put comic books in toy aisles to cross promote, the toys and the books, because, hey, you're collecting the G.I. Joe toys. You might read the G.I. Joe comics, or you read the G.I. Joe comics, you might want to get the toys. Now it's like, hey, let's take all this stuff out of the store and we'll just put the toys, if we even carry toys, in this corner. Well, what was bad is I did a subscription for a while through both Marvel and DC. And Marvel was great. Marvel, I got, I can't remember how many years I got X-Men. The only shit part about it is I lived in the country, so when they would get my when I would get my mail, it was folded and shoved in my mailbox.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there for the longest time, all my books had a crease down the center.
Yep. The favorite way of shipping books back in the day was just put a brown wrapper around it and ship it.
Now, see, the funny part about it is none of mine were like that. Mine were in a poly bag, shitty poly bag, with 2 thicker pieces of white paper on both sides. The book, and mind you, is just sliding around. It's not covering anything.
Yeah.
It's got your little sticker on it that tells you where that's getting delivered. And
Back when I was older, I think my grandparents or my parents or somebody bought me a 1-year subscription to Justice League of America. And every month they came with just a brown piece of paper,
oh, it's
not,
like
not even really sealed. I mean, I don't
no.
see-
It just you just
I'll see how
pull it
it's
and slide it out, and then I have a year's worth of New Teen Titans, and I
Yeah.
have a year's worth of Tales of Teen Titans, and they're still got their sleeves on them.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, part of me wants. I mean, they're the stores for sale, but do I keep them in the sleeve, bag them aboard them so that they come with the sleeve? So, but I just never put them out for sale, and I don't know why.
Excuse me.
Wake up, Mark.
Long day.
Definitely a long day. Thursday's going to be a long day for me too, because I got to get up in the morning and take Tina's car down to Troy. So
you gave me that money today.
yeah,
I put it in my pocket.
yeah.
Then I went to the mall, had lunch. Went to the store. Let Cassandra go smoke, and while she's smoking, I opened up some packs.
Of course you did.
And instead of putting the wrappers in the trash, I put them in my pocket. Then when I got next door, I took the wrappers out of my pocket, put it in the trash, my little box of trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check my trash tomorrow. I think I put the $100 in there too.
You better check it.
Because I'm at the drug, Kroger, picking up the prescription. I'm reaching in my pocket. I'm not feeling anything. And the only, I had the wrappers in the one pocket, or that piece of paper you gave me in the other. Well, if it was in the right pocket, it might have fallen out on the floor behind the counter there.
So what I need to do is go check my shop, because my $100 is still sitting at the shop.
It might still be sitting there, accruing interest for me, I'm sure.
They got to sell me another book to get $100.
I didn't want to sell that one, but I needed the money.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Everybody has to sell books to make money from time to time.
They do. I've sold my entire collection off multiple times.
I've sold nearly my entire collection a couple times. I've always kept a couple boxes of books. Because the one thing I won't part with is my run of X-Men. So even when I sold pretty much everything off, I was down to 4 boxes.
Mm.
I had like my boxes full of X-Men stuff, just X-Men. So I probably sold off my like X Factor and X Force and all that stuff.
When I was a teenager, my parents made me sell everything off I had. I tried to hide some of it. Yeah, they found that and got rid of it too. Then maybe early 20s, I had to sell everything again. This time I sold it to Funny Farm. He paid me premium on some stuff, and then when it got down to the penny ante part of it, it was like a dime a book. And did that because I think I had to pay a bill. My bills just overtook me.
Well, mine was when I was a kid. When my mom and stepdad got married, I had to move. We moved from Pickwick to Sydney. I had to sell off all my toys.
Yeah.
I sold almost everything I had off, except for like Star Wars. And at that time, I only had maybe 2 long boxes worth of books. And then shortly thereafter is when I started working for the bookstore in Piqua, and then it just started growing exponentially, and I just started getting more and more and more and more. And then when he closed and tried to bolt in the middle of the night, I ended up with filled the back of my truck with comics. So suddenly I went from probably like, I don't know, 10 boxes to like 30 in a day. And I kept that stuff. I don't know why, but I take it back. I had more comics than that when I moved, because my mom's boyfriend at the time's brother, he collected comics when he was younger. And I would always go, because I hated going to my mom's boyfriend's parents' house, because we'd go there all the time. I didn't want to go up there. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody to hang out with. Literally, I'd go up there and I'd go hide in the attic and read old comics. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, can I borrow some of these? And he's like, yeah, just take them home, bring them back, whatever. Okay, sweet. So I started reading the ones. And then one day he's like, no, you can just have them all. So I was like, sweet. So we literally filled the ass end of a 1984 Dodge Charger hatchback with comics. That car's riding like this. And that's how my big comic collection started. So actually that started a few years before that. And then I started buying all the stuff when I worked at the store, because it was cheap and I could get it for nothing or work for it.
Well, I built my collection up after that, and I'd say late 80s. I had worked for Troll and Unicorn, and I built it up quite a bit there. And then I stopped working for them, decided, made a mistake of going into business with another guy named Mike, who his idea of a partnership is, we're going to sell all your stuff and you're not going to see anything from it.
I started buying stuff and kept buying and kept buying and kept buying. And it was the point where I was like, all right, cool. And then I ran out of room when I lived out at my parents' house. Literally, I started getting rid of furniture. So like had a stereo cabinet. I got rid of the stereo cabinet and I just set the stereo on top of comic boxes. I took and
I mean, if I get rid of my furniture now, I'll have more room for my books.
Hey, I made a couch out of long boxes. Literally, I took long boxes and situated them just right, then put blankets on top of them, and then put a couch cover over it. You couldn't tell the difference, but my comics were a couch. I got rid of one point we didn't have box springs or a bed frame, so I stacked boxes too high and put a sheet of plywood on top of that, and then put the mattress on top of it, so I can still slide my books out. Oh yeah. When you're poor and you're a comic collector and you still need furniture, comic boxes.
That's the way to go.
Hell yeah. And then now I just have a tower of them right here next to me and a tower of them upstairs, which I got to go through and cycle these in with the stuff upstairs. And we're getting ready to redo everything because Tina's going to move her stuff upstairs. I'm going to get the basement pretty much completely. I'm probably going to move these shelves and just stack the boxes up, like essentially floor to ceiling, because that'd be about perfect.
I hate to say it, but it literally looks like you already completely have that basement.
Yeah, that's what Tina says. No, there's this little corner here with her shit.
Corner of her shit.
Which is pretty bad because it's covered with my stuff.
Yeah.
I know. She yells at me all the time about that.
I've got my stuff at your shop. I got stuff out in the shed. I got stuff inside the house. Stuff inside the house, I'm supposed to get out into the shed, but until I get Yanni's crap out of the shed and the some stuff that was left out there from when Emma's and her boyfriend lived out there. I don't have any room to put any more boxes out in the shed.
Well, we'll just do what we did that last time, Mark. You just back your truck up and I'll throw all the trash in the back of your truck and we'll just take it to the dump.
Yanni's stuff needs to go upstairs, but that got put off a little once again when she brought home those rescue cats.
Rescue cats.
By the way, anybody want a kitten? That's right. I have 9 of them.
That's why you're a cat hoarder, Mark. Cat hoarder.
Any one of them you want.
Nope. I got 2 of your old cats. That's fine. That's as much as I'm going to get.
Okay. Well, I'll keep trying.
I know you're always like, hey, you want a cat? Your kids are moving out. Do they want a cat? No.
They didn't latch the door today. And then, I guess when Rick came back from dropping off Yanni, the door was open.
Yeah.
Even with the door open, I can't lose any animals.
You found all of them?
Yeah. The dog didn't even go outside.
It couldn't have been open long. Your dog tries to make a break for it anytime that door is open.
I agree, but I don't know.
Couldn't have been open long. It probably was closed until just before you guys got there and maybe the wind blew it open or something.
I don't know. I was here the whole time, but I let the dog out. I got something to drink this morning, went back to my room. And I never went back in the kitchen. So if the door was open, I didn't know it.
You guys need to put a spring on the door.
I mean, a screen?
Spring. So when the door opens, it'll go closed.
Yeah.
It don't take nothing. You just put a spring on it and 2 eye bolts and
Here another year or so, we might have to actually get another door. It's got no protection from the elements, so it's
starting to rot.
It's starting to rot. Yeah, we used to have an awning above there, and we just never got another one put up.
It's a lot of work, Mark.
It is.
That you cannot do.
That I cannot do. That's right.
Yeah. See, that's what's nice. I can replace doors.
Nah. But nah.
Well, right now I'm telling Joe because I got a bunch of my comics at the shop, and Joe's a bunch of Joe's stuff's there. He's got a shit ton of HeroClix back there and stuff like that. And I keep telling him, it's like, now that you can get that stuff out of there, then I can straighten up my books and do the other wall, and then I can have more of that. So actually, if I kick you out, make you go get a storage unit, then I can have your room to put my shit in. Then I could turn that room into an arcade, and then I could make money off of it.
Yeah, if only those things worked.
Yeah, I can't kick you out.
Mm.
Because then you don't have the money to pay for a storage unit.
No, I think I'd have to get a big one. It costs like what, $150 nowadays?
No, you could probably do with one I have, which is like $100 a month.
Yeah.
But you'd also have to make sure you go out there regularly and put a big fat padlock on there, one of them round ones. So
Yeah, I got one of those sitting here somewhere.
yeah. I gotta go put a new one on mine because I gotta cut the old one off because I lost the key. I'm like, are you shitting me? I've tore this place apart and I know what's gonna happen. I know exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna find that key after I cut the old lock off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is what it is, I guess. Matter of fact, that starts tomorrow. I'm gonna have to go pay that in the next day or two. Probably go Thursday and take care of it. So
yeah.
I might have to ask you a favor for Thursday. I might have to, if it depends on if the kids or whatever, because I gotta go drop my car off in Troy, Tina's car off to get fixed.
Yeah.
So I might have to get a ride home. I want to make
after the gym or
no before the gym.
Before the gym. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'll just get the kids or somebody to take and go down there behind me. Give me shit. But I don't know. It's I'm sitting there the other day, and this is bad. I'm reading an old, like I think Firestorm, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at the little subscription on the last, like next to last page, right? And it lists all the books that come out for an entire year of that's every month you get Firestorm, Justice League, Batman, Detective, Superman, Action, Wonder Woman, Flash, all that. And I'm looking there and I'm like staring at the Marvel one or DC one, and I go find a book with Marvel in it, and I go, wow, I get every book that both of these people would have put out in 1 week. I get more than that in 1 week now, and that was an entire month's worth
Yeah. Yeah.
in the 80s. I think that's one reason why a lot of this stuff it's just too much. I don't think we need every summer we need a giant event twice a year. I don't think we need that. And
Now we don't have a giant event twice a year. It's pretty much, let's have a giant event. That finishes up. Oh, we're going to have another giant event.
yeah, it just spins into the next one. It's always another one, always another one, always another one.
The last thing that Marvel did was Extreme Carnage, which really was not a giant. It was a series of one-shots for each symbiote character, but it didn't have any crossovers, didn't have any tie-ins.
It spun out of Absolute Carnage.
I understand that, but that Absolute Carnage was last year.
Yeah, but no. Then we had the Carnage books that were coming out. Yeah, I guess it just continues. It
does. Technically, if you want to think about it, Sinister War, it has tie-ins with Amazing, but it's because it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That once again, nothing really branching out from that one. I think the death of Doctor Strange might be the next thing that's got
yeah, because it's got a bunch of crossovers,
books and stuff. But yeah, it's just used to be major crossover thing like Crisis, even Crisis on Infinite Earths. It touched on some other books, but not to the point where they do it nowadays.
No. Same with Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2 and Millennium and all that stuff like that. They'll have they always had that little triangle in the corner, in the corner of the page, and like this is a part of the event, and the Beyonder might show up on the last page and tell them, or something like that. And it was never much, and you didn't have to read everything.
They coincide with the main series, but don't really expand upon it that much.
No.
A lot of customers these days, they've already learned this. You don't need to get all the tie-ins.
Mm-hmm.
You're just wasting your money buying the tie-ins.
What was the last one? The big crossover. Empire. I did the miniseries. I did Empire X-Men and Empire Fantastic Four. If I collected the books, so if it's like an X-Men book, I'll collect it. If it's Fantastic Four, I'll collect it. I'm not buying Captain America Empire. I don't collect Captain America. I'm not going to read it. So I just put it on the same way with the King in Black stuff. I didn't order everything of that. If I ordered the regular book, I did. Although I guess I did, because there's books that I got that I was like, I don't remember ordering that, and I had to go find it. I'm like, yep, I did. I don't know why I ordered it, but I did. So that when King in Black is a 7-issue, 8-issue miniseries or whatever, comes out every 2 weeks.
I think it ended up being 7 issues. I'm not sure.
But man, we did not need King in Black, Namor. We did not need King in Black, Wiccan and Hulkling. We did not need, We didn't need everything. If it would have been King in Black and been just put the King in Black storyline into what's going on already. Like they did the King in Black Fantastic Four. That just is in the random issues of Fantastic Four. That's fine. That's what you should do. You know, don't go, okay, you have a Fantastic Four book going on right now. Okay, we're also going to make it so that you have to read a second Fantastic Four, that book that month, to going, you know, simultaneously, well, not even simultaneously, but, you know.
Used to be the tie-ins were the regular issues of other series. And yeah, that got you to try out those books. And, you know, if you like that, people kept buying them.
Yeah. Well, I like what Marvel's actually doing with the Star Wars books right now with the War of the Bounty Hunters. You can read War of the Bounty Hunters and you can read all the other stuff because every book's crossing over with the War of the Bounty Hunters. But each issue book can be onto its own. You don't have to have, if you're not reading Dr. Aphra, but you are reading Darth Vader, yes, them books do cross over, but you don't have to read Dr. Aphra to know what the hell's going on in Darth Vader.
Right.
But you also don't have to read Darth Vader. You don't have to read Dr. Aphra. You don't have to read regular Star Wars if you're just reading War of the Bounty Hunter, because that's a story onto itself.
Right.
So I like that, because that's how you should do a book. And then they're not doing, you know, War of the Bounty Hunters, and then you get the Bounty Hunter book, and then you'd have a War of the Bounty Hunters Bounty Hunter book. No, you're just going, okay, well, the storyline's going on while this is going on. So for that month, it's got the War of the Bounty Hunter banner above Star Wars, above Dr. Aphra versus, you know, over. That's what I like.
Right.
It doesn't add a whole nother book to the series. It just is. So
it's a money grab. Nothing but money grabs these days.
But you always have those months where they have to keep the rights to their old characters.
Oh,
so they don't lose them. What was it? Oh man, what was the last crossover? Was it Secret Wars, where they brought back the Power Line, the Shadow Line characters? They brought back the New Universe. They brought back all that stuff was going on. Yeah, because you can't let them characters go into public domain. You got to make sure you keep, you know, Starbrand and Nightmask and DP7 and Crystar and I love the fact that they brought Crystar back in Weird World only for him to be dead, but they still use the character and the name so they can use the copyright. Like,
yeah, they did.
Kidding me.
The Statue of Liberty's torch is out. This beacon of freedom to all the world for almost 100 years is in this workshop beneath the statue. The torch was severely damaged by weather, pollution, and age, and so were many other critical parts. They must be restored or replaced entirely. That takes money. To make an exact duplicate of the statue's original torch, these American and French workers have to do it from scratch, even make special tools, and that takes money. Everyone loves the Statue of Liberty, but it's going to take money to save her. The Statue of Liberty is an irreplaceable part of our heritage, a heritage of hope, generosity, and opportunity. Her well-being is our responsibility. If you still believe in her, help finish the job. Let the world know we will keep the torch burning for generations to come. Send your contribution to The Lady, Box 1986, New York.
Lyle Alzado just got tough.
Because I started using Tegrin medicated shampoo and stopped using Head and Shoulders. No more pretty shampoo for me. Tegrin's tough. 4 times tough. It's got a special ingredient that tackles not only your everyday dandruff, but all 4 major causes of flaking and itching. Tegrin does more than Head and Shoulders ever could. So for a man's...
And a woman.
Tough defense against dandruff. get 4 times tough with Tegrin medicated shampoo.
Perfect spring water. This'll show Starkist my good taste.
But Charlie, honey, Starkist wants tuna that tastes good.
Sorry, Charlie. Starkist selects only prime tuna fillet and packs it in natural spring water for good taste naturally.
Charlie, you're all talk.
I don't have that problem. Sometimes she wants attention, or she wants to go out and she's not very subtle about it. She just gets up underneath my hand and is like, pet me, pet me.
No, Tina's dog is needy, like super needy. My cat is super needy too, but she'll mellow out. Tina's dog's too big to be super needy.
Right now, my dog is sleeping on the floor because it feels better on the floor than it does on the bed, I guess.
All right, you were frozen there for a second there, Mark. Now you're frozen again. Can you hear me?
I did. Yeah, I can hear you, but you're kind of sketchy.
Okay, man.
Your signal thing just went red.
All right. Yeah, maybe. So
because the internet connection is unstable.
All right. Well, I think that's what's happening. I think we're gonna call it a night since this is gonna start happening. I don't need to keep fucking with this like I did the other day. So I will let you go, Mark. And I hope everybody enjoyed me and Mark rambling about comic books for almost an hour and dumb shit like where we used to have to go collecting them at and how hard it was. Because this is before the internet and before eBay, when if you really wanted something, you had to physically go find it.
Yes.
Well, that's like trying to explain to somebody a while back is that you had the Midwest market and you had like the California market and stuff like that. I was like, you could buy a copy of Howard the Duck here in Ohio for like $5 to $10. You took that shit to California, it was $50. Or you took it to New York and it was like $40. It was the market that you were in is where that book went. Now that, there's the internet and everything where everybody can keep everything. Now everything's pretty much constant across the board. There's no like a California market, no New York market, no Ohio market, stuff like that.
Right.
I guess on a smaller Cosmo, I'm different, but it's not even that big of a difference. Because I definitely sell shit a bit cheaper because I sell by Pickle prices instead of Dayton prices. So, but not by that much. I remember us doing shows back in the day when we could sell stuff for higher in like Indiana than we could in Columbus, or we could sell stuff, that we couldn't sell in Columbus in Toledo was higher up there than it was in Cincinnati, stuff like that. But it wasn't, all that fun stuff.
Right.
But all right. Well, I'm gonna let you go for the night and I will probably talk to you tomorrow. Did you lose that list or did you still got the list?
I got it.
Okay.
I think it's out in the car at the moment.
Yep.
Probably won't be going down to anyone's places though, since I got to find that money.
Okay. Well, if you find the money and you go, let me know, and I will. If not, I think I'm going to pick up some books Thursday before I go to a concert. So it's cheap enough. I'm going to go ahead and pick them up. So.
Well, he charged me $5 for the last team book I got, so. It's whatever Pete's charging.
Okay. All righty. Well, I'm going to let you go for tonight, and I will talk to you probably tomorrow, Mark. And you have a good night, man.
Yep, you too.
See ya.
See ya.